Alright guys, this is the continuation of the UDB video that we made. So in the previous video I showed you the textbook. I explained to you guys what UDB is, and also how to identify them. So now I'm going to go into the charts and then show you how to identify UDBs and how to mark them. Now I will show you guys that right away. So we're just going to pick like few days, probably from Monday, I guess, from Monday. Yep, so let's do Monday. So this is Monday. Remember I told you guys I was going to show you guys what what's it called now, what this vertical line represents. So these vertical lines represent each section, like each day. So from Monday to Tuesday, so this line is the session breaker that signifies another new day, or another new day. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no, rather this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this was the line that I was talking about. So, and I showed you guys how to turn on this line, this vertical line on your charts, so it helps you to separate the day and also helps you to identify valid UDBs for your trades. So we're going to do Monday, Tuesday. I don't want this video to be long, probably 8 to 10 minutes. I should be able to run this through. All right, so let's begin. This is Monday. Monday. So cool. Like I said, the rule for UDB, I hope you guys were able to get that. Now the rule for UDB is, number one, it has to be from previous day. We mentioned that, so it has to be from previous day. Let me see if I can type. All right, text. Let's see, text. Is it text? Nope. All right, let's see the text. All right, you guys have to bear with me. I'm using my tab to do this. So cool. It has to be from what? Previous day. Previous day. Yep. So it has to be from the previous day. It has to be on the M5 time frame. M5 time frame. It has to also be DB. It has to has a DB, yeah. And then what else? I think pretty much that's it. It has to be from previous day. It has to be on the 5-minute time frame. It has to also be there has to be a double break on it. So this, if we go by this, we are good to go. So you'll be able to identify UDBs, and then we'll see how it plays out. Yeah. So this is Monday. On Monday, what do we have? So the way we do it, if you're in Monday, your UDB should come from Friday price action. Yeah. So if it's on Tuesday, it has to come from Monday price action. So that's how it works. So on Monday, we are now going to identify our UDBs and DBs from previous price action. So previous day price action. So this was Friday. Now what's the rule? Double breaks to the upside, correct? So now in this case here on Friday, what do we have? We had a sell scenario to the downside, correct? So price is taking out the lows. Now what we want to see, we want to see a double breaks to the upside, or more than two breaks to the upside, and then failure of it, the highs maintained into the following day, correct? So that's what we want to see. So this is the line that separates Friday from Monday. So whatever it is we're going to be looking for. All right, sorry, what am I doing? All right, okay, this is Friday. Sorry, this is Friday. So whatever I'm going to be looking for, I'm going to be looking for it. So on Friday we had the same price taking out the lows to the downside. So we want to have a DB double breaks to the upside. It must have to be more than 2 breaks to the upside, and then the lows taking, the highs maintained. That's what it is. So in this case, where is that? So we have this guy double breaks to the upside, lows taking, high maintained into the next day, and then boom, we have the sell-off. So this is our UDB. So it all happened that it was mitigated in Asia, and then we had the sell-off. Yeah. So in London, I'm just going to identify UDBs. I'm not going to tell you anything about how to get into any trade opportunity. Just simply identifying UDBs. Yeah, correct. So cool. I think that's the UDB for that day. Then on Tuesday, we're going to, where's the Tuesday? So this is Tuesday. This is Monday. Then Tuesday, we're going to now look for UDBs from Monday. So we still had the sell scenario price, taking the lows. So at what point do we have a double breaks to the upside, or more than, or a multiple breaks to the upside, and then the lows taking, highs maintained? These are the things you want to see. So in this case, we have this multiple breaks to the upside, lows taking, high maintained. Then do we have any of that again here? All right, so I'm just trying to see if there's anything I could find here. So let me zoom in a little more. So cool. There's nothing now. There are different shades to it. It can also be internal, yeah. So but then let me just stick to this. So this is the only thing I can find on Monday. So this is our UDB. Let me see that. DB. We have double bricks here. Right, so cool. All right, so this is our UDB. This is our UDB for Tuesday, and unfortunately we had the mitigation of that. Now it can also be internal, because we have double breaks to the downside, highs taken here, and then we switched back to sells at this point, because when the high was taken here, we have we have double breaks to the downside. So we're supposed to have double breaks to the upside, not downside. So basically this was it. So there's nothing interesting around this area. So yep, that's it for Tuesday. So on Wednesday we are going to look for UDBs for from Tuesday. So this was Wednesday. To get our UDB, we had to look into Tuesday to find that. So the same thing, we had the sell scenario, price selling to the downside, and then what do we have? At what point do we have any switch? So where was the last double breaks? So we had this sell scenario on Tuesday, and then we also had this buy scenario. So for the buy scenario, what do we want to see? Because this was, let me see. All right, so we have double breaks or multiple breaks to the upside here. You see that, multiple breaks to the upside, price taking out the low, but in this case the highs were taken the same day. Now the moment the highs were taken the same day, we switched back from being bearish into being bullish. You see that now? So the highs were taken the same day, and then buy scenario started to happen. We have double breaks to the upside, we have double breaks to the downside, excuse me, and then breaks to the upside, the lows maintain. We have another double breaks to the downside. So let me zoom in clearly so you can see. Let me zoom in a little more so you see. This is a buy to sell. This is a sell to buy. Broken. So if you use a line chart as well, you can find that's a structure. So let's use our line charts to easily identify that. So line chart, you see that? So there's a multiple breaks of structure around that area, and this is what I'm saying, multiple break of structure around that area. So let's go back to the candle. So candlestick. Now double breaks to the downside, break of the high. These lows, you see that? Lows maintained into the following day. These are line here. So in this case here during Asia, so this is our buy UDB. This is our buy UDB. So now price was meant to respect these lows and continue to buy. What happened? It broke, correct? So it broke and then switched back to sell for the moment before we had the buy continuation to the upside. Now I'm also going to tell you how you play around these zones, but this is just you identifying these levels. Yeah, so identifying these levels and trade and spotting them on the chart. So on Thursday, so this was Wednesday, yeah, so on Wednesday we had this. So we had our UDB broken to the downside and broken to the upside the same day. So on Thursday we had, so from Thursday we're looking at Wednesday for our UDB, correct? So we had a buy scenario for this and then a sell scenario as well. So let's see, from this buy scenario, at what point did we switch to bearish? So cool, we had this level taken and then we switched to from bullish to bearish, correct? So we had a DB to the upside, maintained, and then price began to take structure to the upside and then took out our UDB here. We had double breaks to the downside, price took out the high. You see that now? So let's see, let's zoom in a little more, and then we had this breaks to the downside, the highs broken and then taken out that same day. So this was where price switched from bullish into bearish. So this is what I mean. We had double breaks to the downside, breaks of the high, then break of the low, switched from bullish to bearish. So now we have another double breaks to the upside, then break to the downside, and then yep, let me see, yep. So now this becomes our UDB. The highs were maintained into the following day, so this becomes our UDB. This entire area becomes our UDB. So for sell, you see that? Yeah, that's our UDB for sell. Now this, let's do Friday, and this is Friday, correct? Friday here, and then we pick our UDB from Thursday, correct? Now we had a sell scenario to this downside, and then we had this buy scenario, sell scenario. So now from this point, price took out this level, yeah, this low. Now from this price action, can we find our UDB? So we had we had price break of structure to the upside, then we had double breaks to the downside, breaks to the upside. So this is clearly our buy UDB area. And then for the sell scenario, because we had to sell and a buy scenario into the following day, yeah. So for the sell scenario, we had double breaks to the upside and break to the downside, the highs maintained into the following day. So this is clearly our sell UDB. So in this case, we have a sell and a buy UDB on the same day. So cool. And then we have this guy, you see double breaks to the downside, breaks to the upside, the lows maintained into the following day. So cool. This is a buy and sell area. So cool. So we had on Friday, that's today, price sold from our sell, UDB bought from our buy UDB. So I'm going to teach you guys how to play the game from the UDB. So you just basically identifying these areas and then taking advantage of these areas to spot high probability setups and all of those beautiful stuff. Yeah, so cool. I think that's basically what it is. It is not more than this. It's simply spotting where the shifts in market structure happened, where the buyers took over from sellers and where sellers took over from buyers. And then that's pretty much it for UDB. So catch you guys on the next one. I'm going on the next one. I'm going to be doing a detailed, very very detailed. What's it called now? Detailed analysis around around UDBs. Yeah. So how to spot your trade, what and what to look out for before you get in, entries, and then confirmations and all of those stuff. This is beautiful stuff. It has saved me a lot of stuff. You can check all my social media handle from IG. You see how I get in on beautiful entries from these levels. So for this week, this is pretty much what we have as UDBs for this week, and then we were able to get into some beautiful trades from these levels. And then yep, that's pretty much it for UDB and how to spot it in real market situations. So catch you guys on the next one. Bye.